Hello there, welcome to NTV English News Bulletin. I am Bhavana Casey. In the beginning, we have the headlines. House of Representatives to continue deliberations on budget of fiscal year 2080-81 today as well. Members to put forth views on sector-wise budgetary allocation. Soaring mercury level across the country continues to affect normal life. Mid-agency warns of heatwave conditions in Tarai. People urged to take caution. Ukrainian troops gain ground near Bakhmut as Russia claims to have thwarted new attack. Bakhmut, symbolically important for both Kiev and Moscow. And Nepal facing host Myanmar in the second round of the AFC Under-20 Women's Asian Cup qualifiers today. 4 teams to secure berth in Under-20 Asian Cup. Welcome back. Now we have the news in details. The House of Representatives today will continue general debate on the budget for the fiscal year 2080-81. The lower house of the parliament started deliberations on the budget since yesterday after the opposition parties allowed House to resume its business. The opposition parties, including the major CPNU-ML, had obstructed the House session, demanding the government's clarification on authentication of citizenship ordinance by the President. House obstruction cleared after Prime Minister addressed to their queries on the ordinance and on various agreements signed with India during the Prime Minister's recent India visit. The issue of citizenship ordinance certified by President Ramchandra Paudel is now pending a hearing at the Supreme Court, which has issued an interlocutory order to stay the passage of the bill. Parliament is racing against time to hold deliberations and pass the budget estimates for the upcoming fiscal year. Budget has to be passed from the House in order to come into force. The Madhya Province government is unveiling its policies and programs for the upcoming fiscal year 2080-81 today. Province Chief Hari Sankar Mishra is presenting the policies and programs in the meeting of the Provincial Assembly that is scheduled to be held at 3 p.m. The government, led by Chief Minister Saroj Kumar Yadav, is bringing forward the programs aiming at sustainable, broad-based and inclusive economic growth. The government was formed under Yadav's leadership on January the 23. It has the involvement of Janata Samajwadi Party, Nepali Congress, Maoist Centre, Janamat Party, Unified Socialist and Loktantrik Samajwadi Party. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has extended warm felicitations and best wishes to the governments and people of the BIMSTEC Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation member states today, extending the best wishes on the auspicious occasion of the 26th anniversary of the establishment of BIMSTEC. The Prime Minister said our concentrated efforts and solidarity for implementation of all our decisions and commitments are instrumental for making the region prosperous, resilient and sustainable. The BIMSTEC has completed the journey of a quarter century since its establishment in 1997, the Prime Minister said, adding that we all are struggling hard for the sustainable recovery from the adverse impacts of the pandemics like COVID-19, the financial hardships and disrupted supply chains, which have aggravated further to our efforts in achieving the development goals in the region. Similarly, Minister for Foreign Affairs N.P. South had said the BIMSTEC offers huge markets and destinations for tourism as well as trade and investment opportunities within the region and beyond. Minister South said the need of effective implementations of the agreements and understating reached among the leaders during the various meetings were bringing positive impact on the lives of the people of the region. Minister South expressed confidence that the BIMSTEC region will navigate towards the desired destination under the able chairmanship of the Kingdom of Thailand. With this update, it's time to go for a short break, but still to come we have. Welcome back. Now to more updates. The rise in temperature since the past few days continues to affect normal life across the country. The Rai districts are reeling under the heatwave conditions, whereas the temperature has increased up to 45 degrees Celsius. Excessive rise in temperature has affected normal life of people of Morang as well. The streets see lesser number of people during the daytime as people avoid unnecessary work and travel due to the increasing heat. This has especially affected people such as rickshaw drivers, laborers, street vendors who have to work under the heat. According to Hydrology and Meteorology Field Office, minimum temperature of Biratnagar on Monday had reached 27 degrees Celsius, whereas the maximum temperature was recorded at 39 degrees Celsius. Locals are demanding government to arrange cold drinking water and sets in this season, just like the distribution of blankets in winter season. The Koshi Hospital, meanwhile, says the number of patients with diarrhea, fever and throat-related problems has increased due to the heat. Now to the international updates. Ukrainian forces have advanced around Bakhmut. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar had said, describing the eastern city as the epicenter of hostilities. The Ukrainian authorities did not say whether this was the start of a long-awaited counter-offensive. Bakhmut has for months been at the heart of fierce fighting. It has a little strategic value but is important for both Kiev and Moscow symbolically. Meanwhile, Ukraine's military has accused Russian forces of blowing up a major dam in the Moscow-seized region of Kherson in the south of the country. There are fears that thousands of houses downstream may now be flooded. Officials from the United States had candid and productive discussions with Chinese diplomats in Beijing, the U.S. Department of State had said, amid rising tensions between the two countries. Daniel Crittenbrink, Assistant U.S. Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, and Sarah Beran, National Security Council Senior Director for China, met with Chinese officials Ma Zhaoshu and Yang Tao on Monday. The mid-level talks, which mark continuing diplomacy between the two countries despite intensifying competition, come 2 days after the U.S. military accused China of unsafe maneuvers near a U.S. military ship in the Taiwan island. More updates line up on the other side, but before that, let's have the highlights first. Welcome back now to more updates. Microsoft will pay $20 million to U.S. federal regulators after it was found to have illegally collected data on children who had started Xbox accounts. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, reached a settlement with the company on Monday, which also includes increased protections for the child gamers. Among other violations, the FTC found that Microsoft failed to inform parents about its data collection policies. It follows a similar action against Amazon last week over its devices. Paleontologists in South Africa said they have found the oldest known burial site in the world containing remains of a small-brained, distant relative of humans previously thought incapable of complex behavior. Led by renowned paleoanthropologist Lee Berzer, researchers said on Monday that they discovered several specimens of Homo naledi, a tree-climbing stone-age hominid buried about 30 meters underground in a cave system within the cradle of humankind, a UNESCO World Heritage Site near Johannesburg. The oldest burials previously unearthed found in Middle East and Africa contained the remains of Homo sapiens and were around 100,000 years old. More updates line up on the other side, but before that, let's have the highlights first. Now to sports. Nepali Under-20 women's national football team is playing against host Myanmar in the second round of the AFC Under-20 Women's Asian Cup qualifiers. The match is slated to kick off at Thuna Stadium in Yangon of Myanmar at 5:45 p.m. Nepal Standard Time. Nepal is in Group B alongside China, host Myanmar and Chinese Taipei. Nepal had qualified to the second round, winning the first round held in Palestine 2 months ago. 4 teams out of the tournament will qualify for the Under-20 Asian Cup scheduled in Uzbekistan from March 3rd to 16, 2024. Defending champion Iga Swiatek set up a rematch of last year's French Open final against Coco Gauff by moving into the Roland Garros' last 8. Swiatek, going for a third title in the Paris clay, progressed when Ukraine's Lesia Surenko retired ill as the Polish player led 5-1 in the first set. 6th seed Gauff is the 19th, beat Slovakia's Anna Karolina 7-5, 6-5. Whereas in the men's draw, 6th seed Holger Rune survived an error-strewn eventful 5-set thriller with Francisco Cerundolo to set up an all-Scandinavian French Open quarter-final against Casper Ruud. Well, with this update, we come to the end of this English News Bulletin. But before we say goodbye, let's have a quick reminder of the major stories. House of Representatives to continue deliberations on budget of fiscal year 2080-81 today. Members to put forth their views on sector-wise budgetary allocation. Soaring mercury level across the country continues to affect normal life. Met agency warns of heatwave conditions in Ntvithari. People urged to take caution. Ukrainian troops gain ground near Bakhmut as Russia claims to have thwarted a new attack. Bakhmut symbolically important for both Kiev and Moscow. And Nepal facing host Myanmar in the second round of the AFC Under-20 Women's Asian Cup qualifiers. Today, 4 teams to qualify for Under-20 Asian Cup. Well, that's all we have in this edition of English News Bulletin. We'll see you again with next round of English Bulletin at 6 p.m. Till then, have a great time ahead and stay tuned with us. Namaste.